I think we need to take a look at the overall state of the farm economy as we address this particular challenge today. More than 50 years ago in 1973, the U.S. economy was in turmoil. Inflation and the cost of living were up, food prices were high, and American families were angry, which is why I joined Chairman Grassley back in April to question why the Department of Justice planned to close its Chicago field office that specializes in agriculture antitrust issues. The administration has not provided a response.
In the fields where corn whispers and soybeans dream, Senator Durbin stands between memory and steam. He tells of '73 when Nixon's pen froze trade, and Japan turned to Brazil where new fortunes were made. 3 months of policy, 50 years of pain. History repeating, the pattern remains. Now tariffs and tension cloud the farmer's sky, while Brazil and Argentina watch their profits fly. Illinois' soil grows weary but proud. Its farmers stand tall, though Washington's loud. They pay more for seed, for steel, for sun, while big firms decide how the game is run. The fields don't need politics, they need trust and repair. They need fair markets and leaders who care. From soy to pumpkin, from sweat to grain, Durbin warns, don't let short sight bring long pain.
And now turn to Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Senator Grassley. We are of different political faith, but we are friends, and we have many issues in common, particularly as they relate to agriculture. I concede, reluctantly, but concede that Iowa is the #1 producer of corn among states, and add quickly, Illinois is first in soybeans. We have one category where I think we are comfortably ahead of Iowa, and I want to note it this week, and that's in the area of pumpkins. So we are proud of that fact. I thank you for this hearing. I think we need to take a look at the overall state of the farm economy as we address this particular challenge today. More than 50 years ago in 1973, the U.S. economy was in turmoil. Inflation and the cost of living were up, food prices were high, and American families were angry. At the same time, there was a global shortage of livestock feed, causing the price of soybeans to spike. President Nixon, in an effort to stem inflation, stopped all U.S. soybean exports, including those headed to Japan, then our biggest customer. This interruption lasted about 3 months, but for Japan, it was the last straw. The Japanese wanted a more reliable soybean supplier, so they found a handful of small soybean farms in Brazil and started investing. Today, Brazil is the second largest soybean producer in the world and the biggest competitor to Illinois soybean farmers. All it took was one presidential misstep and 3 months of trade uncertainty. 3 months. Sadly, President Trump is not a student of history. His tariffs on China, even as they change from one week to the next, are bad news for Illinois farmers and good news for Brazilian farmers, who've seen their sales of soybeans to China increase by $2 billion this year. Tariffs are also good news for Argentina, which has sold $708 million more in soybeans to China this year. Yet President Trump is propping up Argentina's government with a $40 billion lifeline when American farmers are struggling to stay in business. The president is in Asia for trade discussions with China. I hope that they will be positive. But China is now investing heavily in South American farming, even building megaports there to manage massive shipments of soybeans, corn, and sugar. It is a replay of what we saw with Japan and Brazil in the 1970s. And China is playing the long game at the expense of American farmers. Illinois farmers are concerned about the increasing cost of doing business, especially the cost of seed, fertilizer, and equipment. One problem is that there are just a few big companies in these sectors where market concentration reduces competition. The committee has examined these dynamics in other parts of the food industry, such as meat packing and groceries. It's a complex issue, which is why I joined Chairman Grassley back in April to question why the Department of Justice planned to close its Chicago field office that specializes in agriculture antitrust issues. The administration has not provided a response. Farmers need policy certainty from Washington, but these past 10 months, that's not what we've given them. The chairman and I co-sponsor a bill to allow for year-round E15 ethanol sales. It almost passed Congress until Donald Trump and Elon Musk stopped it and opposed the bill. Farmers also face severe workforce shortages. 70% of farm workers in the United States are foreign-born. But the way this administration targeted immigrant farm workers is another sign of how this administration values farmers. USDA has forced out more than 15,000 employees since January, and farmers are seeing widespread delay in services as a result. My farmers, all farmers, need help, but no amount of financial relief can replace lost markets, especially if relief payments simply go from farmers straight to the handful of seed, fertilizer, and equipment companies. Big companies say their size helps them compete and survive while providing consumers with a consistent, reliable product. Farmers disagree. Saying feed, seed, and fertilizer are not affordable come with strict contracts and requirements that prevent farmers from exploring the alternatives, pressure tactics that keep farmers trapped as customers, and zero transparency on how personal farming data gets collected and sent to who knows where for who knows what. This month, the Nobel Prize for Economics was awarded to 3 economists who believe that economic growth happens when conditions exist that allow new innovation and technology to rise up to replace old ones. Today's witnesses will report on whether that is actually happening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.